10, 15 minutes. Once again, we are southbound on the 5 freeway, now passing the 91 freeway. CHP considering all options at this point as we've made our way firmly into Orange County. There are Orange County units monitoring this pursuit as well, and they do have a spike strip ready if they see an opportunity to spike this suspect. That would have to be speeds, again, well under 70 miles per hour, which at this point we're at about 60 miles per hour. Just very unusual for a freeway spike attempt in this situation with other vehicles in the vicinity. But in this shot here, you can see he's basically got the entire freeway to himself. Now in the number 4 lane, makes it a little more tempting if they have a passenger or if they have a unit along the side of the freeway. A spike strip, again, a possibility in this situation, just a little bit unlikely. Don't often see it on the freeway, but again, not unheard of. We are southbound on the 5 freeway, making our way further into Orange County. Santa Fe Springs CHP office still immediately behind the suspect, a male suspect with a red baseball cap, a female passenger in distress in the passenger seat, exhibiting very erratic behavior. We've seen her slouched over, moving around, waving her hands, and on the phone at some points, even reaching under the seat. Very concerning behavior for CHP as they continue to monitor from behind as well as overhead. CHP helicopter overhead earlier. Burbank police also have their helicopter overhead. This all started as a failure to yield of a reckless driver. This black Porsche refusing to pull over on Riverside Drive, originally driving the wrong way on Riverside Drive, ending up on the 101 freeway, through the Cahuenga Pass, through Silver Lake into downtown LA. We've made our way through East LA, back in towards the East LA interchange, made a U-turn in El Monte, back over to the East LA area, and then onto the 710 southbound, where he eventually picked up the 5 freeway, and now looks like we are getting off of the 5 freeway. Getting off of the 5. So we've made our way now off of the 5 freeway onto the 91. We are now going eastbound on the 91 freeway as this pursuit continues. And interestingly enough, it certainly appeared to us that that female passenger was in some sort of distress. But CHP, after taking a careful look from overhead, again, they have infrared technology at their disposal. They can see what's going on in this vehicle. And they've determined that this female passenger is fully compliant with what's going on. She does not appear to be in distress. According to CHP, the female passenger cooperating with the driver and completely complicit in this pursuit. So we have 2 suspects, unknown if they are armed, but at some points we've seen the passenger reach under the driver's seat, CHP right behind them, monitoring not only their twists and turns, but also every single movement inside that vehicle. They are taking note of every single move, and you can see they fight them. Told they just read a spike strip again. We're on the 91. Has just attempted to spike the vehicle, going at a pretty high rate of speed. We'll go ahead and pop up that real-time speed tracker, upwards of 70 miles per hour. Highly unusual to see a spike attempt on the freeway doing these speeds. I can't remember actually the last time I've seen that, but nonetheless, they've just attempted to spike this black Porsche convertible doing speeds upwards of 70 miles per hour now on the westbound side of the 91 freeway. Again, CHP Santa Fe Springs Station now pulling back. Orange County units taking over the pursuit. CHP's Orange County Division taking over this pursuit as we make our way westbound on the 91 freeway, coming up on Fullerton, and eventually we'll be approaching the 57 will be the next freeway. Could get off before then, but in the meantime, we're making our way further inland past Anaheim, again westbound side of the 91 freeway, approaching Harbor Boulevard. CHP's Orange County Station now in charge of this pursuit. Several air units overhead as well. And again, we are trying to figure out if there was a successful spike attempt. However, I believe they may have missed. Looked like he was in that number one lane for a short time. They tried to spike him, and it appears to have been a miss from our estimation up here. Looks like he's still maintaining speeds upwards of 60, 70 miles per hour westbound side of the 91 freeway. Coming up on, looks like the next exit is going to be East Street and State College Boulevard, and then the 57 freeway. But at this point, looks like he's continuing to jump around there with very little traffic to contend with as we make our way past Anaheim. The 91 freeway pretty quiet at this hour. You can see not a lot of traffic at all, which would indicate why they may have taken the chance and tried to spike this vehicle, but it does appear it was a failed spike attempt. Is he getting onto the 57? All right, transitioning onto the 57 freeway as we make our way into Anaheim here. The pursuit continuing, westbound side of the 91, transitioning to the southbound 57. No, it might be northbound. Northbound 57, okay. So we've made our way well into Orange County now. He's transitioning onto the northbound 57 freeway. Again, if you're just joining us on ABC7.com, Chris Christie up in Air 7 HD as we continue to follow this pursuit. CHP pursuing a black Porsche convertible through Anaheim. This is a pursuit that started downtown in Los Angeles. Originally, the driver was driving the wrong way on Riverside Drive. Eventually ended on freeway where police tried to pull the driver to stop, and that's when they started following this Porsche into Hollywood. Made his way southbound on the 101 freeway. CHP picking it up in the Silver Lake area and eventually trying to pull the driver over near downtown LA. Immediately, the driver picked up speeds going upwards of 100 miles per hour, and the pursuit was on all the way through downtown LA, past the East LA interchange, all the way out to El Monte, eventually on the 10 freeway where he turned around, made his way back onto the 710 freeway, eventually onto the 5 southbound, and now we find ourselves here in Orange County, again, northbound 57 freeway with no clear indication of where this driver intends to go. Again, we're northbound 57 with very little traffic to contend with. Orange County units now taking over the pursuit. These are CHP units, LAPD monitoring, Orange County monitoring as well. Burbank Police also has They have their helicopter overhead as this all started in Burbank's jurisdiction. They'll be very interested in taking this guy into custody ultimately. But CHP, again, taking over this pursuit for the time being as we make our way through Yorba Linda, approaching Yorba Linda Boulevard, northbound on the 57 freeway. A male driver refusing to pull over with a female passenger in the right seat with a white baseball cap. We've seen her ponytail blowing through the air. She's trying to make some phone calls. We've seen her holding the phone up to her ear and at times really erratically moving back and forth, hunched over, slumped over at some points, looked like she was reaching below the passenger seat. Indication of no clear sign of what she's looking for or what she's trying to hold on to, but CHP is very concerned that she may be reaching for a weapon, and that's what they're prepared for. If this eventually comes to a stop, they are going to take all precautions because they are very unclear as to what she was reaching for and what the situation is, why people are not pulling over. Again, two suspects. At one point, or for much of this pursuit, I should say, we were really unclear on whether this female passenger was being held against her will, if she was in some kind of distress, if she was maybe crying or in some kind of pain. But CHP has made the determination here in the last few minutes that she is compliant with the driver and is considered a suspect. So we've got two suspects in this vehicle. Again, newer model, black Porsche with the top down. Several CHP units right behind her. Again, we're traveling northbound on the 57 freeway. This pursuit now upwards of an hour old, I would say, about an hour and 15 minutes. What would you say? About an hour 15, yeah? About an hour. PD? No. What do you mean? But that's not him, right? That's CHP? Or Burbank? Okay. Orange, thank you. Purple one. Santa Ana units. No, Baldwin Park is picking it up. Once again, Air 7 HD up over a pursuit in Baldwin Park as CHP continues to follow this black Porsche convertible with two suspects in the car, a male driver, a female passenger, northbound on the 57 freeway, approaching the 60 as we also approach the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Again, this has been going on for close to about an hour and a half. We've got two helicopters overhead, including San Bernardino Sheriff's Department as well as the Burbank Police Department, which is where this all began about an hour and a half ago. This driver driving the wrong way on Riverside Drive, eventually refusing to pull over and making his way onto the 101 freeway. We've been all over East LA and eventually made our way back onto the 5 freeway southbound into Orange County, did a big circle as we came through Anaheim and now have made our way onto the northbound side of the 57 freeway here in Diamond Bars. So certainly a confusing pursuit, unclear what the motivation here is, why this driver ever would have been driving the wrong way on Riverside Drive in the first place. But again, a male driver, female suspect in the passenger seat, acting very, very erratically for much of this pursuit. At some points making phone calls, other points slouched over, moving back and forth in the passenger seat, reaching for something under the passenger seat. CHP taking note of all of her behavior and very concerned about the possibility that these two may be armed and dangerous. They are going to be prepared for anything when this pursuit eventually comes to an end here. We are back in the number 1 lane next to the carpool lane there. You can see CHP's Baldwin Park Station taking over this pursuit from Orange County units just in the last minute or so. So we've got CHP's Baldwin Park Station as well as the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department helicopter overhead, and once again Burbank monitoring their suspect as well. So the chances of this suspect getting away, highly unlikely. We've seen it before, happens about 30% of the time, but in this case certainly appears that the driver intends to take this as long as he possibly can, as long as he's got gas. Again, we're northbound on the 57 freeway, approaching Diamond Bar, approaching the 60 freeway, I should say, and we'll see what he decides to do. All right, jumping onto the 60 freeway. All right, CHP transitioning with the suspects. Northbound 57 transitioned onto the 60 freeway. Going to go west on the 60. And we'll be heading back westbound direction into the city of Industry. Again, we've done several, I wouldn't call them circles, but certainly a giant loop around the metro Los Angeles area this evening. Again, this pursuit starting in Burbank, eventually into downtown LA where CHP picked it up. We've been in East LA, we've been in Orange County. Now making our way into West Covina, westbound 60 freeway, approaching West Covina. A male driver, a female suspect, and a lot of questions as to what the motive is in this particular pursuit. Just no clear indication as to why they won't just pull over and why they were driving the wrong way on Riverside Drive in the first place. Unclear what the mental capacity is here, if there's anybody under the influence. Very odd behavior both on the part of the male driver and the female suspect in the passenger seat. You can see at the top of your screen, that's going to be San Bernardino's Sheriff's Department helicopter. Again, we've got 2 helicopters over this pursuit. Burbank Police also have their helicopter overhead as well. LA County Sheriff also monitoring the pursuit as we make our way back in the direction of LA City. So numerous agencies have multiple resources at their disposal here, and we are covering all of it from up here in Air 7 HD. Coming up on 9:25 on a Friday night, what better way to spend it than right here with us? Westbound on the 60 freeway, coming up on the City of Industry, and looks like we're going to hand it off once again. CHP off to East LA. Gold, you said, right? Gold? Just passing the Puente Hills Mall on a Friday night as this pursuit continues westbound side of the 60 freeway. Looks like he's got much of the freeway to himself here. Again, this is a male driver, female suspect, doing about 50 to 60 miles per hour. CHP following closely behind. One of the things we saw earlier, kind of unusual, was an attempted spike strip in Orange County, as I believe that was on the 5 freeway at one point. Again, highly unusual, especially at these speeds on the freeway, to see a spike attempt, but CHP trying nonetheless, and it looks like they may try once again. We'll see what they do here. They are discussing the possibility, at least, as we make our way westbound on the 60 freeway, approaching the City of Industry. About 3 or 4 units right behind the suspect. Also 2 or 3 helicopters overhead. Orange County Sheriff Department now joining the pursuit as well. Again, we have Burbank Police up here joining Air 7 HD, and San Bernardino, I think, pulled off, right? We had San Bernardino at one point. No, he's up here. So Burbank now pulling off. San Bernardino pulling back as well. We've got CHP overhead, and LA County Sheriff again monitoring this pursuit. As for the time being, we're on the freeway. Going to stay on the freeway. Been on the freeway for most of this pursuit, with the exception of at one point we were in East LA, jumped off of the 10 freeway in El Monte, ran right through some red lights, a few stop signs, coming in pretty close contact, but never actually colliding with any other vehicles, but certainly very erratic driving that we saw there for a brief time before he made his way back onto the freeway. That was about an hour ago, and ever since then we've been on the freeways in Orange County and LA County. We're back in LA County now, again westbound on the 60 freeway here in the City of Industry, approaching the 605. Again, he's got the 60 freeway basically all to himself. Very, very little traffic to speak of. Not sure if they're running traffic breaks up ahead. I don't see that. Looks like they do have a traffic break up actually up ahead, Rob. Rob, look a little bit. Where are we looking here? Looks like that's going to be up ahead. Yeah, I actually do. They're stopping traffic right before the 605. Yeah, way up there. Yeah, just stay on this. Looks like they are preventing traffic from entering the 60 freeway, so they've got the freeway intermittently shut down for this guy, apparently giving themselves some room to perform a possible spike attempt. Again, not very typical for this type of pursuit, but nonetheless, CHP acting aggressively and treating this very, very seriously, as they are unclear what this driver is capable of, and also unclear whether these two are armed. So we've got a male suspect, a female passenger as well, and CHP considering another spike attempt. There you see they have the freeway shut down there at looks like Hacienda Road. We're just passing Hacienda Road, approaching the 605. Nice. Can I control it? Where is it? Thank you. What? Oh. Funny. There we go. What is that? What is that? Did they try it? I missed it. Yeah, we're on it. Say again? Uh-huh. I hit the wrong one. Uh-huh. switching to blue. What'd you say? Turn it off? Yeah. Off. Blue. Switching over to blue. Once again, if you are just joining us live on abc7.com, taking a live look at a pursuit here in approaching El Monte here. Going to be on the westbound side of the 60 freeway. This is a pursuit that's going on the better part of an hour and a half now. Started just before 8 o'clock this evening. Originally, the driver driving the wrong way on Riverside Drive in Burbank. Ultimately, CHP following the suspect onto the 101 freeway southbound into downtown LA, where the pursuit began. At times, speeds upwards of 100 miles per hour. Now doing about 80 miles per hour as we make our way back towards downtown LA, but not before venturing into East LA, Orange County, Anaheim, Diamond Bar. We've been all over the place, and now you can see we are making our way once again back towards downtown LA. We just passed the 605 a short time ago. You can see California Highway Patrol, rather. Several units right behind him, and considering their options here, one of which may be a spike strip. That would be the second spike attempt of the night if they do. This this CHP unit looks like he's actually creeping up on him, maybe even thinking about a pit maneuver would be highly unlikely at these speeds, but you just never know. I mean, CHP treating this very seriously. We're continuing westbound 60 freeway. Approaching Paramount Boulevard. CHP once again handing this off to their East LA office. Just passing Greenwood Avenue. Again, I count about 3 or 4 CHP units right behind this guy. Again, you can see the airship is overhead as well. Pretty much come full circle. We were here earlier in the night, and now we are back in East LA as we make our way through Montebello, westbound side now of the 60 freeway this time. The suspect basically staying in the middle of the freeway there. Not a lot of traffic to contend with. Just a couple of cars there in the number 3 and 4 lane, but this guy, again, no intentions of pulling over here. Going to take this as far as he can go. It's a newer model black Porsche convertible with the top down. Just passing Wilcox at about 80 to 85 miles per hour here in Monterey Park. Can you get another look at the passenger? She's still on the phone? Yeah. Well, certainly looks like she's calmed down. She was pretty agitated earlier. The female passenger there with the white baseball cap exhibiting very erratic behavior earlier. Rocking back and forth in that passenger seat, fumbling with her phone, making phone calls, fumbling with something else below the passenger seat. Again, catching the attention of CHP as they monitor her behavior. But it looks like she's calmed down quite a bit, sitting still. Earlier, the driver was patting her on the back and trying to console her at points, but CHP has made the determination that she is a willing participant in this pursuit. Looks like she does have her cell phone on. Looks like she's on her cell phone once again. Not a lot of movement. Continuing on the westbound 60 freeway, approaching the 710 as we are making our way into the Boyle Heights area. As I look off the nose, not a lot of traffic on a Friday night, especially for this time of the night, but you can see we again are on the westbound side of the 60 freeway. A little more traffic on the eastbound side, but he's pretty much got most of these lanes to himself here. CHP at one point blocking traffic a little ways back. East LA station taking over this pursuit just a couple minutes ago. CHP continuing this pursuit. This has been handed off between a number of CHP stations, but basically in CHP's jurisdiction almost the entire time. This all started in Burbank, but CHP has basically been the lead agency for almost the entire pursuit. Coming up on Indiana Street. Well, guys, we've come full circle. We are back in the East LA interchange, westbound on the 60 freeway, Air 7 HD up overhead as we approach the 5. CHP continuing this pursuit into downtown LA here in the next minute or two. Again, not a lot of traffic to contend with on a Friday night, but a pursuit that has taken us from the San Fernando Valley through downtown LA all the way down into Orange County, through Anaheim and back up to Diamond Bar, where we made a westbound turn onto the 60 freeway. We've been on the 60 now for about a half hour, and the suspect continuing to refuse to pull over. Again, very erratic behavior in this vehicle and very erratic driving at times, but for the most part, things appear to have calmed down here. Again, there was a lot of movement in that passenger seat, a little bit of erratic driving earlier, but now holding speed steady at about 70 miles per hour. There was an attempted spike strip in Orange County on the part of the California Highway Patrol. It was a failed spike attempt. There was a possibility that they were setting up for another spike strip, which, again, highly unusual on the freeway, and especially at these speeds. But they've felt comfortable enough to try it, and unfortunately it didn't work. So we find ourselves approaching the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour here, 9:44 on a Friday night, as CHP continues this pursuit into downtown Los Angeles. And after all that, looks like we may be getting back onto the 101 freeway. This pursuit started on the 101, just south of Burbank, made our way through the Cahuenga Pass, and now we find ourselves back onto the northbound side of the 101 freeway. Once again, if you're just joining us on abc7.com or on Facebook, you're taking a live look at a pursuit in downtown Los Angeles, a pursuit going on the better part of close to 2 hours now. We're northbound on the 101 freeway, a black Porsche refusing to pull over CHP with quite a night here. They have handed this pursuit off to a number of their personnel across LA County, across Orange County, several helicopters following overhead, including Burbank PD, San Bernardino, LA County, CHP, you name it, a number of agencies interested in taking over this pursuit, but CHP, the lead agency here, as we make our way northbound on the 101 through Silver Lake, or Echo Park, I should say, making our way just past downtown LA, and it looks like we're coming up on the 4 level here. All right. Speed's holding steady at about 60 miles per hour. Looks like he's making some kind of a hand gesture again. Got his right arm in the air. Not sure if he's just holding onto the windshield there or pointing at something. From very animated, we've now gone to perfectly still. I don't even see that female passenger moving anymore. She's just kind of relaxed there in the passenger seat. Both of these individuals kind of relaxed now. Again, much earlier, this was a very interesting pursuit because this passenger and the driver were both very erratic, especially that passenger at one point reaching under the passenger seat, reaching for something, fidgeting with her cell phone, hunched over, rocking back and forth. The driver trying to console her. When we first picked this pursuit up, it looked like she was crying hysterically. But at this point, it certainly appears that things have calmed down, both in the driver's seat as well as the passenger seat. Now back in the number 1 lane, northbound on the 101 freeway, making our way through Silver Lake now. Very heavy traffic on the southbound 101, but you can see the northbound 101, the driver has plenty of room to work with CHP with several units right behind them. And again, just a little bit of volume on the 101 freeway at this point. Again, northbound 101 approaching Hollywood is where we are on a Friday night as this pursuit enters going on close to 2 hours. We're approaching Rampart now. Again, northbound on the 101 approaching Rampart. And we're back in the number 1 lane at 70 miles per hour as CHP continues this pursuit. Making our way past downtown. We're into the Silver Lake area now. Coming up on Hollywood, and it'll be interesting and almost predictable in some ways, depending on how you look at it. These pursuits never really are entirely predictable, but this one, it appears, maybe heading back where it all started, up in the San Fernando Valley. If he continues northbound on the 101, that'll put us in Hollywood here in the next 5 minutes, and eventually through the Cahuenga Pass back into the San Fernando Valley within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Again, speed's holding steady at 60 to 70 miles per hour, holding that number 1 lane. You can see he's pretty much got that number 1 lane all to himself. CHP with 3 to 4 units right behind, and we've got 2 helicopters overhead. You see the night sun shining a light on this suspect. Again, it's a black Porsche convertible. Driver refused to pull over in Burbank earlier in the night, and now we're making our way back, at least in that direction. Northbound 101 approaching Santa Monica Boulevard. We'll go ahead and take a look at the real-time tracker, and looks like we're holding steady at about 60 miles per hour, traveling northwest through Hollywood on the northbound side of the 101 freeway. Much less traffic now that we've made our way past downtown LA, past Silver Lake. The 101 fairly light for a Friday night, and you can see he's pretty much got all lanes to himself in this shot right here. Again, this is a male driver being pursued by the California Highway Patrol. Female passenger wearing a white baseball cap, sitting basically still in the passenger seat. We've got a pretty clear shot. Fortunately, we've got the top down on this convertible, and we've been able to see pretty much exactly what's been going on both in the passenger seat and the driver's side all night long. And that's also given the CHP a leg up as well. Treating this very seriously, very delicately, taking a number of precautions, but also at times pretty aggressive by CHP standards, especially considering they've attempted to spike this pursuit vehicle on the freeway at a fairly high rate of speed down in Orange County. That was about 45 minutes ago. It was a failed spike attempt, and you could see the driver maintaining full control of this Porsche as we continue northbound side of the 101 freeway. We are in Hollywood, making our way towards the Cahuenga Pass. Did anybody know what time we picked it up? Yeah. (8:03), so almost exactly 2 hours. Gotta wonder what the fuel situation is. Obviously not the most fuel-efficient car on the road, but anybody's guess as to how much gas is left in the tank. You can see, again, we're continuing northbound side of the 101 freeway, passing the Hollywood Bowl and entering the Cahuenga Pass, again, with very little traffic on the 101 on a Friday night. CHP continuing this pursuit back to where it all began, within the Burbank city limits, off the nose of Air 7 HD. Still in the city of LA as we make our way through the Hollywood Hills here, approaching Universal City. One second. I've got IFB up. Are we? Hey there, David. Got you loud and clear. We're up over the 101 freeway, making our way into Universal City. This pursuit now going on almost exactly 2 hours from when we first picked it up. It started as a following in Burbank. The driver going the wrong way on Riverside Drive, eventually turning around, refused to pull over, ending up on the 101 freeway. CHP following this vehicle onto the 101 freeway, down in towards through Hollywood and into downtown LA, where they tried to light him up once again. the driver refusing to pull over, and we have been on the freeways ever since. At one point, ending up in East LA, got off the freeway, and now we're off the freeway once again here. I didn't catch that. Looks like we're at we're Barham Boulevard, just off the 101 freeway now. Again, we've done a full circle around the metro LA area, all the way through downtown LA, down the 5 freeway into Orange County, into the Buena Park area, eventually through Anaheim, back up into Diamond Bar. He went right through Yorba Linda. We ended up back in East LA and on the 101 just as of about 20 minutes ago, where we are continuing back in the direction of where this all started, David. Once again, she slouched over, and you're so right about that, David. I've been wondering all night long. I was speculating at one point maybe she might have even been in labor. Maybe they were trying to get to a hospital. You just never know, but that is not the case. We thought maybe she was crying hysterically or in some kind of pain, but CHP has made the determination, and I don't know how they've done this, but they seem to be operating under the suspicion that she is compliant with this driver. She is complicit in this crime, and she is considered a suspect in this case. Now, we don't know whether they're armed or how dangerous they may be. It only started as a reckless driving call. Again, wrong way on Riverside Drive, so that was obviously very erratic. But eventually, on the 101, they just refused to pull over. And again, the motivation here is just very unclear. But as you mentioned, she was hysterical in the passenger seat at one point, or at several points. The driver actually trying to comfort her, rub her back, pat her on the back. She's had her cell phone out at some points. It looked like she was making phone calls from the passenger seat. And the driver himself also very animated. At one point, we thought we observed what might have been a foul gesture from either the passenger or the driver in the direction of law enforcement. So not sure what their antics are or why the bizarre behavior, both in the driver's side or passenger seat. But again, as you mentioned, very bizarre behavior. And now, for the first time all night, we're making some twists and turns through a residential neighborhood. Again, this has been on the freeway for the better part of 2 hours. Now it looks like we're on Oak Street, again, traveling westbound on Oak, in through a surface, onto another surface street here. It looks like right at Oak and Cordova Street is where we are, David. Yeah, all of a sudden you kind of get the impression that this driver kind of has an idea of where he is, familiar with his neighbor. Here we go, this pursuit coming to an end here. Both the driver and female stepping out of the vehicle. The vehicle is moving on its own, and now it doesn't look like they're going to run for it. Okay, the car's collided with another parked car, and they're making a run for it through a couple of houses. As you're taking a live look at Cordova Street is where we are. CHP now has their guns drawn. This is now a foot pursuit in a residential neighborhood here along North Cordova Street as they try and outrun police. Look like they just casually stepped out of the vehicle, and it looks like they've got these suspects at gunpoint right now. This pursuit has come to an end, David. Again, obviously a very dark situation down there. Unclear how this is playing out, but we saw officers with their guns drawn as these suspects basically ran through a couple of houses on North Cordova. Yeah, looks like the female. I don't know if she's put. It's just hard to tell from this angle whether she's putting up a struggle or what the situation is down there. You're right. At first, they just kind of casually stepped out of the car. The car rolled into another parked car, and then they kind of sped up. Once they saw the police jump out, they kind of ran through those two houses, and now it looks like this has come to an end in that backyard right along Alameda Avenue in Cordova. Again, it's worth mentioning this is just off of Alameda, not far from Riverside Drive where this all started, so I have to say the possibility and probability is that they are familiar with this area. Unclear whether they live in this block or whether they know somebody in this neighborhood, but they certainly appear, after a long 2-hour pursuit through LA County and Orange County, ending up here in an area that they appear to be familiar with. The way he was navigating those streets once he got off the 101 freeway, it certainly seemed like they knew where they were going or what he intended to do. But you can see this is coming to an end now in the backyard of this home along North Cordova. Yeah, again, you got to wonder what the motive was here. I have a feeling, as is often the case, the backstory might get very interesting once we find out who these two are and what they were up to, what made them decide to run. It's the question we ask so often here in Southern California: why run? You certainly know the probability is you're going to get caught, but these two just kind of went on a joyride. Again, the bizarre behavior in the passenger seat was really suspicious and really scary for officers. At some points, it really looked like she was reaching down under the passenger seat for something, and when officers see that, their antenna goes up, David, and they have to be ready for anything at all times. Once this pursuit comes to an end, they were ready just in case these two were armed and dangerous. It could have ended much, much worse, but obviously appears to have come to a peaceful end, not far from where it all began, here along Alameda and Cordova. Looks like we're in an alleyway, and they are still in the backyard of that house. I don't think they've made it out of there yet. Looks like they're still with the suspects in that backyard.
We have a couple more minutes.
All right, we'll be out of here in a minute.
What the hell?
There she is.
They're bringing her out. They're putting her in the...
They must live here.
Yeah, they're going to the front. You want to come around? Hey, Christina, we probably have 1 or 2 minutes left. Do you want to wait for the female, or what do you think? I'm not sure if she's coming out the front. Okay. 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 Hey, Mike, as soon as you got to go, just nose it over. There she is.